Hi guys, hi everyone, it's me Ghost Girl again, and I'm in the woods again today. I'm in a different bit because I went the wrong way from what I did like the previous past weeks that I've been in here, so I've had to go and find like a different place to like film that like didn't get like a lot of foot traffic and like hundreds of people like walking there and that. And also there was a thunderstorm the other night there, so there was like areas that are like way too like muddy from the rain still to like go to, so I just kinda had to do the best I can at the moment. I thought last week my mum decided to go to my gran's earlier than usual, so I was able to film in the house, but she decided she wasn't going this week, so I've had to trek my way here again. So yeah, the joys. So yeah, today is the second story that won the creative writing competition. Again, it's Amy Cochran. So congratulations to Amy Cochran on winning on the second week in a row my storytime competition. And today I'm going to be reading to her story of The Woods. It's called The Woods. So, and I'm just going to read to get on with it and read you guys the story. Now bear in mind I am holding a phone and I've got a notepad on my lap and I'm sitting on a log in the middle of a forest. So kind of bear with me. So I'm going to read the story and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to tune in next week in case you hear your name being announced as the winner of my competition. Okay, so here we go. It was a crisp Saturday morning, my favourite. I was venturing out into the woods as I did every morning. The fresh air was swirling through my long brunette hair just as I was exploring the woodlands. My family lived about 10 minutes from the woodland in an ordinary house in a cul-de-sac. I had only been wandering in the woods for roughly 20 minutes before I hear my phone buzzing in my pocket. I answered my phone and it was time for me to return home. Today was not a busy day at all, so I did not understand why Mother called. My mother gets quite anxious when I am out on my own, so perhaps that was the reason. I thought I saw a little boy running ahead of me at first. I thought nothing of it because they were children that lived nearby and proceeded to walk home. A few hours later it was time for lunch. Henry and I set up the table and we sat at the table whilst we were waiting on lunch. Henry is my older brother. We were conversating with one another, and my trip to the woods popped up. I asked Henry about the little boy in the woods and if there was a little boy that lived nearby the woods. He looked puzzled and asked why in a confused tone. When Mother called for me to return home, I was walking and saw a little boy run ahead of me. I replied, I know there are little children that live in our street, but I've never seen them go as far as the park, especially not without their parents, replied Henry. Before we could speak more of the topic, they were interrupted with lunch. About an hour after which I asked Father if I could go back to the woods, because he knew it was my favourite place to go to take photographs and be around the natural environment. Of course you can, sweetheart, but make sure you keep your phone close, replied Father. I saw my mother giving him the look, which meant that she was not exactly enthusiastic about the idea, but saw no harm. I quickly ran upstairs to grab my jacket and camera and raced to the door. This time I will be able to spend longer wandering through the woods, discovering new pathways to explore. I loved the sound of the leaves and how they crunched under my shoes. After every footstep, each leaf pressed against my shoe, the further I aimlessly trembled into the woods. The woods were darker today than usual. You know that feeling of being watched but nobody is around. As the woods were gloomy and dull today, my heart was pounding with every step. I reached a narrow path, one which I had never taken before. This path led into the unknown. I heard a crack behind me and immediately ran as fast as I could, but fell to the ground with a big thud. But there was not a soul in sight, just that eerie feeling that I was not alone. My ankle was killing me due to the way which I fell. Great. Silly me deciding to go to a new path and explore further into the woods. After 5 minutes struggling to get back on my feet, I eventually stand up and carried on walking through the woods with a limp. As I was walking, I thought I saw a little boy again, the one from earlier. I rubbed my eyes and he was nowhere to be seen. It felt strange that Henry had no idea what I was on about. It was like only I could see him. As I was thinking I was going crazy, I felt something touch my hand, so of course I looked down to think it was a leaf that tickled my hand, but I saw the little boy again. He was very much real and looked about 4 years old. His clothes were ripped and very dirty. His unwashed hair and unclean face made me think he lived in the woods. His big blue eyes investigated my soul and it was a little frightening. "Hello, I saw you earlier," the little boy said happily. "Hi, I thought I saw you running, but you disappeared," I replied confusingly. "I didn't disappear. I ran into the woods and sat on a log," he responded. The little boy stopped and was humming a tune, one I heard when I was a baby. "I know that song," I blurted out. Before I could finish the rest of my sentence, the little boy said, "I know. Your mother used to hum it to you whilst you were falling asleep," the little boy replied and smiled. I was stunned. Now, how would he know that? "How do you know that?" I asked, surprised. "I know things," the little boy replied in a strange tone. I did not know what to do at this point. I was trying to make an excuse to get away from the situation and from this little boy, as I was starting to get scared. It was like something I saw in a horror movie. Aye, you're right about that. It's like something in a fucking horror movie, this story, I swear to God. About 15 minutes passed and I told him that I was going to leave, but what was I supposed to do? I was freaking out. Before I left, I asked his name. My name is Leo. That's a nice name. Do you live with your family? I asked anxiously. I live with my mum, but she doesn't look after me, so I spend most of the day here in the woods, the boy replied. After hearing this, I felt sorry for Leo, so I told him I would be back in the woods on Monday afternoon. His face lit up and he had the cheesiest grin on his face. I walked back along the path home. Boy, I was glad to see the park I passed through to get back to my house. As I was walking along the pavement, I saw my father washing the car, so I ran towards him and hugged him. He looked at me oddly, therefore I told him what happened and he stared at me strangely. You've never saw him in the neighbourhood before? Father asked curiously. No, not that I can remember. And it was as if he had never been washed before, and his clothes were torn and very dirty, I replied. He was scary, Dad. He knew the song Mother used to sing to me when I was a baby. And from that day on, never ever did I go back to the woods. So guys, that is the story. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. It was a bit longer than the last one, and it did take me longer to get it all down. Now it is a lot of stuff to memorise. If you expect me to memorise that in a week, less than a week, then that's just kind of unrealistic. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I've still got 4 more winners to announce, so stick with me for the next 4 weeks to find out if you won the story time competition. I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I hope you guys enjoyed taking part in my competition, and I hope you guys also enjoyed my Andromeda story and the journey it took to get here. So that is everything for today. Please like this video, comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on that notification bell so that you'll be notified when my videos come out. Also, I've got a Twitter account, so don't forget to follow me there as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.